I thought the young men played extremely hard. It wasn't they played a relatively clean game. There were some penalties that obviously we need to clean up. There were some turnover situations in the negative, but there was also a lot of creative turnovers in the positive, which balanced everything out. I thought the defense played really, really, really well, especially the first 3 quarters. We did some things in the fourth quarter to let the clock run out that to allow them to do some things they weren't able to do throughout the game, but that's part of it. I mean, when you watch some of the contests around the country, you know, when you have a game won going into the fourth quarter, you need to be smart, and you don't need to keep doing what you were doing just for, you know, ego purposes. You've got the game won, you need to get out of the game and keep everybody fresh. We have a very, very difficult stretch coming up, and we're going to need everybody that's able to do that. So we wanted to get out of the game in the fourth quarter, and I thought we did a fantastic job of doing that. The special teams, I thought, was a drastic turnaround than the week before. And as much as a negative they were the last week, I think they were an extreme positive in this game. And obviously, I think that was one of the things that was greatly in our favor is the way our special teams played against their special teams. So I'll open it up to questions.
Coach, this week, going off of special teams and all-purpose in general, 247 yards for Sean Riley. Just what you could say he did in this game.
You know, there's a lot of that yardage was there last year. Last week we were 1 or 2 steps away. Obviously, he had the mishap with the fumble punt return, but that was his first, as I believe, his first fumble punt return in his career. And we had a lot of confidence in Sean that he was going to be able to come back and do some things. I thought Coach Justin did a fantastic job of making the corrections from that second game to this game. And I think we have some special teams that are going to be reckoned with.
Coach, the way your guys responded today, especially in that second half, especially coming off the loss last week, how much does that please you to see they come back and they win by 3-4 touchdowns?
You know, the first thing I said to him in the locker room, which is the reason why I lost my voice, I apologize, is I'm very, very proud of them. I mean, they really went about their business and came out and played this game the right way. There were some emotional mistakes. You know, there were some hits and there's some flags on some emotional stuff, but I didn't think they were out there trying to play dirty football or anything like that. I think they were just playing hard and playing to the echo of the whistle, and the referee thought they were a little bit tad late and made some calls, which if they're going to give that kind of effort, then, you know, we may have to be okay with that because I thought they played extremely well.
Steven and then Mark.
A couple quick injury ones. Any kind of concern with Irv long term? And then Juwan Dowles, what did you kind of see to let him back in the game?
First of all, I haven't had an opportunity to see Irv because I didn't want you guys to wait, which I should have did. But so I haven't had a chance to see Irv at all. And Juwan was cleared by the medical people, so when they clear him, we put him back in. Zero. I helped him up, and then they took him to the sideline and examined him, and then they let him back.
Coach, you talked a little bit about Sean Riley, and you know, the game started so slow, it seemed like, for your offense. How big of a spark was he with the kick return and that long catch on the next drive to kind of get you guys going?
Oh, it was a huge spark, you know, and hopefully that, you know, that moves around. You never know whose day it's going to be, and that's what we're traditionally, from an offensive standpoint, that's what we're used to. But it's also on defense. I mean, how big was Evan Foster's play? I mean, getting that interception and then taking it to the house, you know, and I thought that was the biggest play. And am I right? I thought that was the biggest play of the game for them to get that and to turn it into 7 points and then kick that ball off again. And, you know, just very proud of all those guys. I thought they really, really competed in a smart way today, unlike last week. You know, when you do something wrong, you do push-ups. So I did something wrong, and I had to pay up. And it wasn't just me. There was other guys doing push-ups in the game too. They did something wrong. You need to pay the piper. So when I'm wrong, I paid it. No, I'm not going to tell you.
With that and losing your voice in the locker room, last week you sat here and you took the blame for the performance last week. Did your emotion or attitude since then, did that shine through your head?
You know, it's not about me. I'm not going to talk about me. I'm going to talk about those guys. How proud. What about the defensive effort, you know? seeing defense like that again in the Dome, in the Loud House. How about that? Seeing guys make plays and special teams, defensive guys knocking people around, being physical and being fair about it. And then offensive guys, making plays. Ish, Dungy. You guys, he didn't throw for a great percentage, but I'm telling you, there were some plays where he flat saved us. He played smart quarterback football out there. He really, really did. And there was a blitz once that came from there was a situation with the blitz once where we hadn't seen it before. And I'm telling you, Dante Strickland, where running back had made a mistake last week, not Dante, had made a mistake last week on something similar to this. And then Dante kicked in common sense, which we hope we all have. And he slid this thing to a different side and picked this guy up right before we made a huge play. I can't remember whose catch it was down the field. And I'm sitting going, I looked at Dante, and he came off the field, and everybody's talking to the receiver and the quarterback, and I'm like, I am so proud of you. He's like, thanks, Grandpa. It's fun. It's fun when they're all locked in and they're all focused, and they were locked in and focused today.
Second row in the middle.
Coach, compared to last week, the defensive endurance seemed just a lot better in this game. Was that connected to just the excitement level, or was it just that the team just, seemed to be a little bit more endured now that we're in the third week of the season?
I think they were ready to play. As a competitor, all you have is what's out there on tape, and as a team and as a football family, we weren't happy with what we put on the field last week. And as a family, we wanted to change people's opinion, that we think we've got a good football team. It's not perfect. No, we're not perfect. But we think we have a good team, and we just wanted everybody else to feel better about us and have faith in what we're trying to get done.
300 yards rushing. Aside from the big plays,
I couldn't hear you because the door opened, so you got to start over.
300 yards rushing. Aside from the big plays, what did you guys do differently or more effectively this week to finally get the ball moving on the ground?
See, this is crazy because we had 300 yards rushing. Oh, how cool is that? We're trying to be steady. We're trying to be steady. I would imagine if we had 300, then Eric had a lot. 105. Okay, Eric can do that stuff. We're willing to do other things that we weren't willing to do. Our quarterback likes to run. We need to run him a little bit. If we don't run him a little bit, he takes off anyway and runs. So we might as well block for him instead of letting him not doing it where we don't block for him. And I think that adds different dimensions to our offense where it allows other people to have space where maybe they can do some things in space. And, when you talk about Sean Riley, Nakeem, Irv Phillips, Ish, Ravion, Rhino, Chris Elmore. I mean, we've got some guys that if we put them in some space, they can do some things. So I'm happy that happened. And do we know if that's going to happen next week or the week after? No, but we're sure in the heck going to go back to work and try to see if we can reduplicate it again.
Steven, then Nico.
Hey, that's Eric Dungy right there.
It seems like this year, especially today, the body language in the secondary is so much more positive. You talked about Evan Foster coming back with the pick six, and even Chris Frederick, gave up a couple catches and then he had the interception. What have you seen from that group? Maybe just aside from adding players, but more of a mental, emotional side, how they're handling getting beat, which is just kind of going to happen. It's the nature of the position. How have you seen those guys kind of handle those situations this week?
Well, I think that Coach Ward and I think that Nick Monroe does a really nice job with those guys. And I'm going to tell you, being a corner in the ACC Atlantic and what we're about to go through, man, it's rough sledding. You're going to stop the run against some of the teams we're going against. You got to put extra guys in the box. And those guys are going to be on islands all by themselves. And when a linebacker gets beat, nobody knows it. All they see is the safety and the corner getting outran. When a corner gets beat, everybody knows the corner gets beat. And I think they step up as a group and they competed. And I'm happy with them. It's not, somebody threw one ball over your head. You got to remember they're out there 50, 60, 70 snaps. And if they do throw it over your head, the only thing I ask them to do is run down and catch the guy and give us an opportunity to play goal line defense. And I think that happened today, too. I think Evan ran somebody down from behind and gave us a chance to play goal line defense. I can't remember if they scored or not on it, but I was just so excited that he rallied and make that play to give us another chance. It's all about the belief. So I'm really happy with the way they compete, and we need them to compete even more in the weeks to come.
Last two questions, Nico.
Coach, I know it is early in the season, but can a win like this maybe serve as a turning point, maybe set the tone for the rest of the way?
You know, we've got, as far as I'm concerned, we got the toughest schedule. But we're willing to go up to bat, and we're willing to play those guys. We can't cry about it. You know, we're going down to Baton Rouge. I've never been to Baton Rouge, and I've been to a lot of places. And they keep telling me that when they poke that tiger with that microphone, it's going to sound like something you've never heard before. Well, as crazy as this sounds, I'm looking forward to that. I'm not going to be around here too much longer. I'd like to hear that. Now, once that ball's kicked off, I may not be so happy, but I'm looking forward to going down there and hearing that tiger with that microphone. And I think everybody else is too. This team is ready. We understand what the schedule is, and we're ready to go play it.
Last question, Matt.
Yep. So Sean Riley had a great game today. His usage prior to this game was very limited on offense. Is he going to see some more snaps on the offensive side of the ball in addition to special teams coming up this week?
We just got to, it all depends on what's going on. Irv is, you know, one of our lead inside guys. Sean has always had the ability to make those plays, but he's got to show us, you know, and today he did. And when we call it peacocking, when you're going to peacock, like, you know how those peacocks get their feathers and they stick them out like that? I said, if you're going to peacock, then you're going to get more footballs. You know, and there's no doubt he had his feathers spread today.
Thanks very much, Coach.
Thank you.